Okay, it's not about ideology, it's about something that every human understands: fairness, boundaries, consent. Women's sports and women's spaces exist for a very simple, very human reason. Women have the right to their own arenas, their own safety, and their own opportunities, free from male advantage and male intrusion. This isn't controversial. This isn't radical. This is the foundation of decades of women's progress. And yet, in the past few years, something deeply unfair has been happening. Biological males, people who have male bodies, male socialization, male strength, are being placed into women's sports and women's spaces, and not because women chose it, not because women agreed to it, and not because women consented to it. Consent matters everywhere. It must also matter here. Women cannot consent for other women. Women cannot be volunteered as props in someone else's identity. And women should not be turned into validation tools simply by existing in the spaces that were built for them. Okay? This is what's so important. Let me give you an example, because this is where injustice becomes crystal clear. Imagine a women's poker tournament, okay? A space that's created for women, marketed to women, proudly celebrating women's participation and achievements, because poker players are only 10% women. Now, imagine the organizers admit a biological male who says he identifies as a woman. The moment that happens, the moment they let that man in, every single woman in that room, whether she knows him or not, whether she agrees or not, whether she is comfortable or not, every single woman has now been forcibly enrolled in affirming his identity. Not by choice, not by consent, and not by discussion. Simply by being a woman in a woman's event, she becomes part of the backdrop, validating him. This is why it's enraging. This is not fairness. This is not equality. And it certainly is not consent. Women are not props. Women are not costumes. Women are not required to participate in anyone's personal journey, especially when that participation comes at the cost of their own dignity, comfort, or safety. The heart of this issue is simple. We cannot call it empowerment for one group when it functions as coercion for another. We cannot pretend a woman is free when she cannot say no, when she cannot disagree, when she cannot choose the conditions of her own participation. Women fought for decades to have these spaces, to have fair competition, to have privacy, to have safety, to have a meaningful, respected boundary between themselves and male bodies. And it is not bigotry to defend those boundaries. In fact, defending those boundaries is the very definition of equality. It is the essence of women's rights, because women have no women's rights when men can legally become women. It is the foundation of female dignity. And this is not about rejecting anyone or being against anyone. This is about refusing to erase women to accommodate everyone else. So today, I want to ask you to remember something. A society that respects women is a society that respects their right to say no. No to unfairness, no to coercion, no to being used, intentionally or not, as affirmation tools for anyone else, because women deserve better. Women have earned better than that. And we must insist on better than that. Thank you.